shooting, but even more importantly is that game is called Biomutant for a reason, because you'll be able to mutate your character.
Oh, so you're getting new feats, new perks, new arm, something like that?
Crab pinchers on your back, huge mutated tail, but we also have what I call X-Men mutations. So you're able to levitate, telegonize people, shoot rays from your eyes.
Do you have claws?
You can.
Oh!
Whoa.
I'm hyped for that.
So where does the environment, where does this take place?
Yeah, so our take on post-apocalyptic, we don't have a nuclear bomb disaster. So it's more about the environment and a catastrophe in the environment. So a natural environment disaster. We have something called dead oil emerging from the Earth's core, seeping through the crust of the Earth and contaminating the world. So in our version of this, there's the game in the open world is centered by the tree of life that is currently dying. And you have the choice to try to heal it or not. Otherwise, the game will end with the world dying anyways. But you might want to play like that.
Okay, we'll see the customization of the character right now. You can do whatever you want with this. Holy moly!
My goodness.
It's an RPG, right? You saw the stats on the right-hand side. So as you change your genetic structure, it also affects the stats. So you want to play as a big character, you get more health, you're more resilient, but maybe a little bit slower. If you really want to be small, fast, and agile, yeah, that will also affect your stats.
Okay, so how long is the gameplay planned for?
It's a tricky question. It's an open world game. So let me give like the political answer of at least 10 hours.
Okay.
But it's probably going to be longer.
So, is there like a main boss in the game? I'm sure it is, and he's big and mutated and has like 8 arms and so on.
Yeah, I mean, the main bosses, if you will, you want to call them like that, is at the end of each of the 5 roots, emerging, stretching out of the world from the Tree of Life. There's this big creature gnawing at that root.
I see some influence from comic books, like with the raw, right? It's very comic book-like.
It's just, again, we're showing you the free flow here. So you see the we're just using the face buttons. So in a normal like third-person shooter, you're usually using the trigger and you're aiming. So we're trying to get this free flow by jumping and shooting, immediately switching to melee, dodging, rolling and shooting, and immediately switching to melee. So it's really up to you how you use this creative toolbox of kung fu moves. And obviously, as you progress through the game, you will be able to learn more moves, both by, getting level up points and assign them then and unlocking moves, but also you will meet the kung fu masters out in the world.
I'm really curious about your main character. Like, who is this? Like, I am just so curious. Like, how can you tell us a little bit more about our, protagonist?
Without revealing too much. So, at the beginning of the game, you don't really know anything about who you are. And
okay. I kind of like that. So it's a self-discovery.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things that will play into your personal end game, because that's what we want to try to do. And it's not like we have 3 cutscenes and you get the red or blue one, but we're going to try to do a personalized ending. But I want to go back to your question. So, in this world, there's only one meat eater. And you saw that big bad wolf in the beginning. He's the single meat eater in the game. So everyone else, they are mammals, so they eat fruits, vegetables. And this might sound silly, but it actually has a meaning in the game. So this wolf, he will be a reoccurring character in the game. You will meet him several times. And at the end, you will also start finding out who you are and why you are here, and also a little bit about your background, where you came from.
Okay, so that's
and I can't mention more.
No spoilers. This is just my job. I gotta ask you questions, and the people in the chat want to know.
And there's another component to that. We have a storyteller. So the only speaking character in the game is the storyteller. And all of the other ones, they are mutated animals, so they speak mumbo jumbo, and he interprets what they are saying.
Mutant jumbo.
All right, that's actually awesome.
Wait, what is that? What is he like? Is he like? Whoa.
Yeah, he's shooting electrical bullets there, and you will see the effect of that there when they're shaking their teeth. And this big guy is actually quite dangerous. So when you see oil in our game, it's always dangerous. So this guy is actually going to try to grab you and drown you in that oil over there. So you better be careful.
He looks like a very huge squirrel or like an ape.
I mean, he looks like all, fuzzy and cute for the most part, but then you look at his face and outfit.
Yeah, he has covered his face because he was emerging from the oil, so you can see a little bit of his gear there.
Oh, wow.
He's like a scuba diver.
Look at him.
All right. Well, the game is,
cool.
I'm assuming it's for PC. But also probably some consoles?
It's primarily on console. So PS4, Xbox One, and also on PC, yes.
All right, awesome. What's the plan for the release date?
Next year.
Wow.
Okay.
So very soon.
How far are you in development of the game?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a pretty good state. We will end with a little bit of a glimpse of the open world, because this is mainly showing parts of the demo that is playable here at Gamescom. So we are quite far, I would say, but there's always, you know, in game development, a lot of things we want to do.
Sure.
So we just have to gauge like how much of the crazy ideas we have, we actually put in the game. And by crazy ideas, you will see at the end a little bit about what I mean by that. Because a lot of people has, you know, they're actually agreeing with us when we say the game is weird in a good way.
I like the style. It's like
I
a
love
comic
the style.
book, a moving comic book, basically, right? The graphics are complementing that as well, so that's really cool to see. When it comes to the main character, right?
Pow.
I see.
Sorry. I mean, when
a
I
game
see
made
that,
for you.
Anytime I see Pow, I have to just pow. I mean, that's cool. I like the comic book little sequences popping out the bubbles. It's really cool.
So what I wanted to ask is, the main character has a sword, right? Is that like his personal, like, you know, weapon, or can you change that? You have different weapons.
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that right now, because when you enter that door, you will see a little bit of our crafting. And for the demo, we actually ask you to use a crafting bench, but in the real game, you can craft at any point. So you start out with this sword, but you can create, and we will see an example of this, really a creative way of customizing any melee weapon. So two-handed, two single-handed,
So
dual
cool.
wield, and you can put a lot of stuff on this. And one thing you can do is put modules onto these weapons that will give them like frost powers or biocontaminated powers, that if you hit an enemy with that, he will start to barf.
That's really awesome. Like, everyone loves customization option, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like.
So same thing goes for the range. What he just did there is like a body that dictates if it is a shotgun type of gun or assault rifle type of gun. You can also dual wield, one two-handed, and obviously he wears the stuff that you just crafted. And then again, when you go out into combat, you're free to mix and match those. So here's actually as an example of that module. So he's picking up a frost module here. And this example, you see it's actually mounted to the gun. But
Yeah.
you can at any point choose to mount it on a melee weapon instead. You can craft these, you can craft bigger ones. So it's a tactical choice in addition to your creative toolbox for combat and engaging enemies.
And what are these insects that's following? I'm sorry, I am
it's
very
great.
distracted by
That's,
these really cute little things, but maybe not cute. I don't know. What is that?
Yeah, he's your main sidekick in the game, in the open world game.
no way.
So in the demo, he doesn't play a major role here in the playable demo, but in the real game, he has a significant role. So he's your automaton scrap toy that will follow you through the game. He speaks a little bit of blip-blop. Sometimes the narrator will actually tell you what he's saying too. And as you find cool places in the world, he might start to tell you about them and to give quests in relation to where you are in the world.
Does he actually help you in any combat situations? He
That's
says,
not his job.
okay.
But he
I'm
will
just
give
making
you
sure
one-
because
oh,
I
sorry.
freak out. I'm like, get out of the way. I'm trying to do something.
Yeah,
Don't
sometimes you
die,
have
little
to
guy.
defend, like characters like this. This
Yeah.
is a key character. You have to help and defend them.
All right.
But I will give you one thing with the cricket. You can actually modify it. I didn't say this
No
before.
way, really?
Yeah, so you can actually change the way that it looks. You can make yeah.
Was that one of the goals? Was to make sure that things were, you know, that the player could feel really in control and
Yeah.
modify things?
I love video games. But I think like when I want a linear story, I love going to the movies. But video games really want to go back and bring the fun factor into our games. So we don't take ourselves too serious, but we just focus on enabling the player to do cool shit.
Well, that's actually pretty cool. I mean, when I'm playing an RPG, I'm spending like an hour or 2 hours on creating my character, right?
100%.
And this game is basically like, you know what? We love that as well, and we're gonna just make an entire game about that.
It's pretty cool because you can switch around like whatever you want during the game, right?
Yeah.
The customization options are crazy. I like that. Or the weapons. I mean, I'm assuming you have hundreds of combinations.
I think we did a math calc on the ranged weapon combination. It's about 500,000.
Oh my god.
What? And are you going to be adding more? Or is this just something?
I think 500,000 is enough. If they all make
Yeah, I would
sense,
say
I leave it
so.
to the player. Oh, here's a good thing. You see that's glitter grass.
Okay.
And these small critters called nonos, they're hiding in glitter grass that you find in the open world. And they are essentially for healing the roots of the tree of life. So you can actually then affect your personal ending by healing the tree of life. Here's an example that this old guy gives you on how it will work on his miniature pensai plant. But it's for the huge tree in the open world. So if you lead nonos to heal the root, then your chance of World Survivor, a percentage score, actually increases. And at the end of the game, we will roll that. So if you have 30%, you have a third of a chance to get that ending. But you can heal it up to 100%, and then you're sure you're going to get that World Survival ending.
So
or if you want to play as bad, you don't have to do that. Then you will have the really bad ending.
So you're crafting your own destiny, basically.
That's a good way of saying it. Maybe I'll use that.
Yes. Trademark that quick.
Yeah, so here we are actually seeing like coming towards the end of the playable demo, so it's about 25 minutes in, and I would say that this marks the start of the actual game. So we're opening it up, 4x4 kilometer open world for you to discover. So
What is this world here called?
Oh, wow. Yeah, we don't have a name for it, but it's quite varied, and there's a lot of characters in it. So here we'll give you a glimpse of what you will do most of the time.
That was Cerberus, though. He had 3 heads. That was insane.
That was really good. So that is an example of a boss.